And Disney has the other ongoing financial issues as well, at least for its company. To break this all down, Josh Inamoto, he's a contributor for the financial tech and consulting companies, TipRanks and Fintel. Good to see you again. I mean, how do you not get political over this? You know, if in the last package you just heard, Disney's not contesting it, and Ron DeSantis has a good point. Why should Disney get special treatment beyond what Legoland gets or SeaWorld gets or Universal Studios gets?
I think it's become a situation where it's more of a political gamesmanship now, because let's look at the reality of the situation. On one hand, you have this new initiative allows Governor DeSantis to act tough and to look tough on key culture war issues, and he can present a tough man image to his Republican base. On the other hand, Disney, while it technically incurs some financial headwinds, it largely gets to keep its the benefits that it always has with the special tax district. So right now, it's more of a political situation rather than a financial one.
Okay, fair enough, and that might also explain why Disney's not, I guess, challenging this for the most part. I mean, after all, these rules were put in place as an incentive for Disney World at the time, decades ago, to expand in the state of Florida, and I would assume that both parties have benefited significantly from that. Let's talk about the other issues for Disney. A lot's been made about the streaming business. A lot's been made about their ESPN sports business, not to mention their news business. Let's start with the ESPN business. That has been controversial because they haven't, while it's been a very, I guess, robust part of their business, why don't they want to invest more in their sports business, given that that's what most people like you and I ultimately see on a day-to-day basis?
It has to do with the changing habits of the emerging generation. So up until I would say up until the older millennial crowd, these folks and older have gravitated toward the traditional sports of football, basketball, baseball, and these are the folks that are also going to the actual games. But increasingly, esports has dominated the narrative. So for Disney to continue investing heavily into ESPN, I think that there's a strategic element. There's a strategic hesitation there because it's essentially you're putting in more money into. I don't want to say traditional sports is going to be completely irrelevant, but it's starting to lose some of its relevancy compared to esports.
And the streaming business, I mean, a lot's been made about whether or not they would ultimately, I guess, spin that off. Should they spin it off? Will they spin it off? And isn't that, though, one of the best parts of Disney? I mean, at least it was 24 months ago.
Yeah, I think in that case, the COVID disruption, it really came at a inopportune time because, prior to that, Disney was making significant headway with its the purchase of the Star Wars franchise, and of course you have the popular TV series, The Mandalorian, that is broadcasted on Disney Plus. So that's a major that is a major advantage to Disney. But then with the COVID disruptions and the delays in getting new content, there was a rupture in the consumer economy. The particular because people that were quarantining. Now the demand for actual experiences started to take root as opposed to just
okay. Well, but even if we talk about real experiences. I think my friend called me from California and said there was something like buy 3 days and get 2 days or something like that. There's a ton of specials on visiting the parks. We all know it's really, really expensive, but ultimately there are financial implications for the company. The stock hasn't performed very well. There's concerns about more layoffs, and ultimately there's also concerns about who's going to lead Disney over the next decade. And of these issues, I don't know, where does an investor begin as they analyze whether this should be in their portfolio or not?
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, on a year-to-date basis, Disney, I believe, is up double digits. I think close to 11%. But yeah, on a trailing year, I think it's down more than 20%. So it is a difficult investment. I do believe that if you are bullish on Disney stock, that patience may be the best approach. You have Bob Iger, who's coming in, and he's shaking things up. For instance, he recalled the hybrid workers. Now, starting from March 1st, people have to be in the corporate office at least 4 days a week. And so he's making changes. And so I just think we need to wait, investors need to wait for these changes to take root.
And then on the layoffs, we just showed that they're going to lay off about 7,000. That was the previous announcement. Do you think it stops there, or do you think there's a sort of a pause and maybe another reevaluation? And it's not just Disney, but a lot of these companies, there's question marks now, can they do more with less?
Yeah, I think if I were betting, I would probably say there will be some pause, some reflection, and perhaps more layoffs, not only for Disney, but as you mentioned, several other enterprises. When you listen to the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell's comments, he certainly left open the door for higher and quicker pace of interest rate hikes. So I think that is going to have a significant negative impact on the economy. So I would imagine there would be more layoffs coming.
Real quick, I'm curious, because we've been talking about these interest rate hikes, we've been talking about inflation, the pressure on the consumer, because Disney is a consumer-facing company. We pay money to buy clothes and go to parks and licensed clothes or whatever we do. There are limits to what people are willing to spend, or are there for Disney? Are we there yet?
Yeah, I think we, at a certain point, we're getting pretty close. I would start to have some questions about the resort side of the business. I know that it has soaked up some of this revenge travel demand, but you and I, we've been looking at these layoffs, and they just keep coming and coming and coming. So yeah, that is certainly a risk factor for investors to monitor.
Josh Enomoto, always good to have you, my friend. Appreciate your analysis on this. And next time we'll talk about, I'm sure, the other companies who are going through changes and layoffs. Thank you very much.